So for one last time, I need y'all to roar.
Thank you, Savannah. I am honored to be here today. A quick introduction. I've been a Savannah resident for the last year and am absolutely loving it. However, sad story, after spending 15 years working in software, I lost my job unexpectedly after my role was eliminated. Having the guarantee of affordable health insurance has been a blessing that I never thought would be ripped away. Now I rely on COBRA for health insurance. But my access to that plan is temporary and, as this wonderful lady just said over here, expensive. I pay $800 a month for COBRA insurance because, believe it or not, that was the affordable option. The price for a comparable plan on the marketplace, once the Affordable Care Act's tax credits expired, was over $1,200, that's right, $1,200 a month, just for me. And let me tell you, these are not your typical health insurance prices. No, 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 they're not. It was only a few years ago that I used to purchase my health insurance from the ACA marketplace and paid just $300 a month. I am lucky to be healthy and in my early 40s. For now, I tightened my budget and found a way to make it work. But this is surely not a long-term solution, as everyday costs continue to go up and up and up. For many of my fellow Georgians, whether you're a small business owner, a parent covering your children, or an employee absorbing rising premiums, the cost of health insurance is hitting harder than ever. That's why access to affordable health care is on the line this year. While Donald Trump waiting for that, claims affordability is a quote-unquote hoax and let the tax credits expire, this year alone, Georgia has already lost over 350,000 people from ACA coverage, a 27% drop. And I am one of those people. I have to decide between paying over $1,000 a month for good coverage or taking the risk and reducing my coverage to save money. And the politicians who could fix this, many of them are choosing party loyalty over people. Ultimately, we are in this position because Trump and his puppets refuse to stand up for the more than 1 million Georgians who rely on these tax credits. No one makes that clearer than Mike Collins, the Republican running against Senator Ossoff, who chose to stay in Trump's good graces and voted against extending the tax credits, rather than fighting for the people whose vote he is asking for. Mike Collins voted to let our premiums skyrocket and for Georgia families to lose their health care coverage. But there is hope. Yes, there is. Senator Ossoff knows that for many Georgians, Access to affordable health insurance isn't just a policy issue, it's a personal one. That is why he has fought to strengthen the Affordable Care Act. Last June, he offered an amendment to Trump's budget bill to extend the key ACA tax credits that help Georgians like me afford the coverage they need. But Republicans blocked it. I didn't expect to be standing here today, not in a million years did I expect to be standing here today talking about health insurance, but here I am, and if my story sounds even remotely familiar, that's exactly why we have to show up in November. We can and must fight to make sure Senator Ossoff is reelected, to put an end to Donald Trump and the Republicans' refusal to fight for the issues that have a direct impact on our lives. And we have the chance to elect the woman standing with us today, Keisha Lance Bottoms, as governor, to finally expand Medicaid in Georgia. We cannot sit on the sidelines. We cannot wait for someone else to step up. We must fight for our health care. So Georgia, let's roll up our sleeves. Let's get to work. Let's win this November. Send these do-nothing Republicans packing and re-elect Senator Ossoff. Thank you.
Thank you, far too kind. Can I get an encore? You want more? Cook it raw with the Brooklyn boys. So for one last time, I need y'all to roll. Now what the hell are you waiting for?
Please welcome Dora Pearl Jenkins. Thank you, Georgia. It is great to be here with you all. Give you all another round of applause, guys. My name is Dora Jenkins. I am a United States Army veteran, a Gullah Geechee woman raised right in St. Helena, and a small business owner right here in the seaport. I stand before you proudly in a size 11 shoe, y'all. I am the founder and creative director of Soul of Black Pearl, size-inclusive footwear brand created for women who wear shoes up to size 13. Not only that, but women who are overlooked in the footwear industry or forced to choose between style, comfort, and proper fit. It's a real thing. Unfortunately, just like so many other small business owners, I have been hit hard by the current administration's policies and tariffs. Yes. Send the packing. I design my signature footwear, but I do rely on overseas manufacturing because affordable U.S. options can be produced in extended sizes, and small quantities actually are extremely limited. Before a pair of shoes reaches one of my customers, I have already paid for product development, samples, manufacturing, packaging, international shipping, custom fees, and duties. Footwear already carries some of the highest tariffs imposed, and for small brands like mine, every additional cost does matter. On my most recent order, for only 20 pairs, shipping alone cost me an additional $371 before tariffs. And the other expenses required to bring that inventory to market. Large corporations may be able to spend higher costs across thousands of products, but a small business simply cannot. Constant changes in the trade policy also create uncertainty around my final costs, inventory planning, and delivery timelines. I have to make purchasing decisions months in advance without always knowing what the full landed costs will be when my products arrive. That makes it harder to plan my growth, hire employees, and purchase enough inventory to keep extended sizes available. And let me be very clear. I would gladly manufacture right here in the United States if there were accessible partners equipped to produce quality for plus-size footwear in small batches. Plus-size footwear requires specialized molds, fit testing, minimum orders that can be beyond a small brand's reach. At a time where Jordans are already managing higher grocery, housing, and other everyday costs, these added expenses and this lack of certainty can force small businesses into an unimaginable position. I do not want to pass every increase on to my customers, but when I absorb those costs, I have less money to purchase inventory, market my business, hire, support, and grow. Small businesses like mine should not be going at it alone in absorbing these costs. Yes. I love it. I started Solo Black Pearl to empower women who wear extended shoe sizes and make sure that they have access to luxury footwear without compromising style, comfort, or confidence. So for me and many other business owners right here in the state of Georgia, the stakes of this year's midterm elections are very high. I am so grateful for Senator Jon Ossoff's continued support for small businesses. Yes. He has time and time again pushed back on the current administration's tariffs and that inflicting harm on Georgia small businesses. There is nobody in this race for U.S. Senate that I trust more than Senator Ossoff to stand up for Georgia businesses so that we can continue to grow our businesses, employ more Georgians, and contribute to a thriving economy. Amen. That's why I'm calling on all of us here today to do our part to make sure that Senator Ossoff wins re-election and will. And to elect Keisha Lance Bottoms, the first. The very first Black woman governor in the country. So Georgia, let's do this together. Let's win next November and defend small businesses and their economic contributions across the state of Georgia. Thank you.
Welcome, Sylvia Robinson.
We drumming. Sylvia Robinson, also known as Keisha's mom. I actually lost my identity, but it's a good loss. Now, many of you know Keisha because she's been a judge, a city council member, mayor of Atlanta, and now your Democratic nominee for governor. But before all of that, she was my youngest of 3 children, my baby girl. And I had a nickname for her. It was Chatty Cathy. Keisha talked a lot all the time. She asked questions all the time. And when my husband, her daddy, Major Lance, would drop her off at my mother's house, he'd always tell her, now try and not ask your grandmother a lot of questions tonight. So, but even then, Keisha always wanted to know why. And why were things the way they were? Why were some people treated differently? Why couldn't problems be fixed? She never accepted that's just the way it is. She wanted answers. And more importantly, she wanted solutions. That's why it never surprised me that she became a judge or a mayor or that she's now running for governor. Because Keisha's heart has always been about serving people. Since launching this campaign, she's traveled all across Georgia, not just talking, but listening. She comes home with pages of notes. Keisha listens to parents that worry about paying their bills, to small business owners trying to keep their doors open, to young people wondering if they'll ever be able to afford a home, to people like me who it's never too late to learn. I started a business very late in life. Something new, a new career, and she listens. She listens. She goes to work looking for solutions. That's who Keisha has always been. And that's exactly the kind of governor she'll be now. I'm proud of everything my daughter has accomplished, but I'm even prouder of the woman she has become, a mother, a woman of faith, and a servant leader who has never forgotten where she came from. So it is my honor to introduce you to Georgia's next governor, Keisha Lance Bottoms.
Monet left foot.
great to be here with all of you as we work toward victory in November. Are y'all ready to win in November? In just 129 days, we are going to elect Democrats up and down the ballot. And we broke records last month when nearly 1.1 million Georgians voted in the Democratic primary. But that was only the start. We have to take that same momentum into November, electing leaders who will always put the people of Georgia first. I'm at least a fifth-generation Georgian with, shout out to Crawfordville, with roots that run deep in this state, and I am deeply honored to be your Democratic nominee for governor. And I am looking forward to working on behalf of all of you. I grew up watching my mother work during the day and attend cosmetology school at night in hopes of achieving her dream of owning a hair salon. And after years of hard work and dedication, she was able to open that salon. It was named Backstage Limited. And the telephone number, wait for it, it was 758 Curl. I was so proud of my mother and the dream that she was able to make a reality. But there were also difficult times. There were days when my mother worked 2 jobs and still couldn't afford to fill the car up with gas. Days when we come home to find our water or our lights had been turned off because the bills couldn't be paid on time. Not long ago, my mother told me a story that I had never heard before. She told me that one day she was on her way to trade in our family car. And just as she pulled up to the entrance of the dealership, the car broke down. Again. My mother said she just sat there, right there in the middle of the street, and she cried. Now, I wasn't surprised to hear that the car had broken down because I remember that raggedy car. But I was surprised to hear that my mother said that she cried because my mama never let my sister, brother, or myself see her shed a tear. Instead, she always persevered. My mother embodied a simple motto: can't, never, could. That's right. No matter what life threw at her, Mama just kept moving forward. She taught us that faith and hard work would always take us farther than fear and discouragement ever could. Eventually, my brother and sister followed in my mom's footsteps, joining her in Backstage Limited Hair Salon. And because of her sacrifices, I was able to fulfill my dream of attending college and law school. No matter the obstacles she faced, my mother always kept her head up and taught us the value of faith and hard work. But my family's story isn't unique. It's the story of many people throughout Georgia. And that's why I'm running for governor. Because I know families across this state are working just as hard as my mother did. They're doing everything right and still wondering if they will ever be able to get ahead. We need someone in the governor's office who understands that struggle. Someone who will make sure that people all over Georgia, whether it's the mother working hard to make ends meet, the father hoping to save for his children's future, the young person chasing their dreams, the worker trying to build a better life, or the senior who has spent a lifetime contributing to our communities, has every opportunity to not just get by, but to thrive. I've told you why I'm doing this. Now let me tell you about the guy on the other side. The gazillionaire Rick Jackson. Now, don't get me wrong. There is absolutely nothing wrong with doing well in Georgia. This is a state where people work hard, build businesses, and become very successful. But here's the difference. While I've spent my career serving the people of Georgia as a judge and as a mayor, Rick Jackson has been making a profit off the people of Georgia. His fortune is filled in part with your tax dollars. Rick built his empire with more than 1 billion, with a B, no bid contracts, taxpayer-funded health care contracts. Think about that. No competition, no bidding. Contracts just handed to him worth 1 billion taxpayer dollars since 2020 alone. While rural hospitals were closing, while families were struggling to afford health care, while Georgians were wondering how they would pay their medical bills, Rick Jackson got richer through his state-funded health care company. But he doesn't want to expand Medicaid in Georgia. As more than 500,000 Georgians have lost health care insurance since January of this year alone, it is the same Rick Jackson who proudly says he wants to be Donald Trump's favorite governor. And as funding has been cut for everything from flooding mitigation here in Savannah to education to affordable housing, it is the same Rick Jackson who says he'll be Donald Trump, but with a Southern accent. As grocery and gas prices remain too high and families continue to struggle, it is the same Rick Jackson who says he can't think of a single policy where he disagrees with Donald Trump. So when Rick Jackson asks for your vote to lead Georgia, you gotta ask, lead us where, Slick Rick? Let me tell you what I will do, God willing, when I am elected governor. I'll fight for you every single day. I'll fight to lower your cost. I will fight to protect our hospitals. I will fight for our public schools. I will make sure that my fight includes making sure that every child has an opportunity to succeed. I will fight to build more affordable and workforce housing. And I will do it because I've always fought for the people of Georgia. And I will have the privilege of doing it working alongside leaders like Senator Jon Ossoff. We are going to send him back to the United States Senate so he can continue delivering for Georgia. Senator Ossoff has worked across the aisle to help families throughout coastal Georgia access diapers and essential supplies. He has secured funding to help deliver more meals to seniors across coastal Georgia. And more people are getting the care they need because Senator Ossoff secured nearly $300,000 for Hospice Savannah. Teamwork makes the dream work. Imagine what we can accomplish with a governor and 2 United States senators working together every day to deliver for Georgia. It's been more than a year since we launched this campaign. And during that time, I've traveled across the state. And of course, I'm no stranger to Savannah. As mayor of Atlanta, I worked alongside my friend and your mayor, Van Johnson, to fight for our communities, and he kept me in a lot of good trouble. I visited small businesses like the Diaspora Marketplace and Kim's Cafe. Oh, and that food was good too. But more importantly, I've listened. And here's what I've learned. Whether you are in Savannah or Macon or Atlanta, whether you are in an urban city or a rural community, whether you are Democrat, Independent, or Republican living in Dahlonega, people want the same things. They want affordable health care. They want good schools. They want safe communities. They want good paying jobs. And they want a governor who wakes up every day thinking about them. And that is the kind of governor that I will be. I'll get to work on day 1 to expand Medicaid. Making sure that Georgians can access the health care they deserve, including access to mental health care. I'm going to fight to lower costs and make sure families can afford to buy or rent a home. And we are going to crack down on corporate landlords who are making it harder for working families to buy or rent a home and live in these homes with dignity. I'm going to make sure that pre-K is available to every 4-year-old in Georgia. We will raise teacher starting pay. And we will eliminate their state income taxes. And we will create a pathway to free technical and community college in Georgia. And we will provide support for our caregivers. And we'll support our small businesses with grants and low-interest loans, because when working families succeed, Georgia succeeds. Now, people ask me all the time, how are you going to run against someone who can spend more than $100 million of his own money on a campaign? And I tell them that my faith teaches me that God doesn't give vision without provision. And like so many Georgia families, I have always known how to do a lot with a little. And if there is one thing my mother has taught me, it is this: you never let what you don't have stop you from working for what you know is possible. Savannah, Rick Jackson may have the money, but the people still have the power. I just heard somebody say, but you got us. Amen to that. So over the next 129 days, let us leave everything we have on the field. Let's knock on every door. Let's make every phone call. Let's have every conversation, because this election isn't just about who occupies the governor's mansion. It is about who we are fighting for. And I'm fighting for the people who simply want and deserve the chance to build a better life. I am fighting for people just like you in this room. So let's send Jon Ossoff back to the United States Senate. Let's elect Democrats up and down the ballot. And together, let's build a Georgia where more families have the opportunity my mother worked so hard to give her own. A Georgia where hard work is rewarded, and where opportunity is within reach, and where every child can dream bigger than the generation before them. My mother has never stopped believing that tomorrow could be better than today, and neither should we. So over the next 129 days, let's go build that tomorrow together. Thank you, Savannah. And may God bless and keep each of you. Thank you.
One lady left foot.
Some people talk about you like they know all about you. When you get down, they got you. And when you dip it on the scene, yeah, they talk about it. Cause they can't dip on the scene, what you talk about it. Talk about it. When you get elevated, they love it or they hate it. You dance up on the haters, keep getting funky on the scene while they jumping around you. They trying to take all of your dreams, but you can't allow it. Cause baby, whether you're high or low, or whether you're high or low, you got to chip on the tightrope. Chip on the tightrope. Baby.
Please welcome Reverend Thurman Neal Tillman, pastor of First African Baptist Church.
Baby, here I am, I'm a man on the scene. I can give you what you want, but you got to go home with me. I forgot some good old love, and then I got some in store.
Greetings, salutations, and good afternoon. We gather today because the right to vote is not merely a political issue. It's a moral issue, a constitutional issue, and for many of us, a sacred trust purchased through generations of sacrifice. The Supreme Court decision weakening Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act has raised profound concerns across our nation. For many, particularly within the African American community, this decision represents another chapter in the long struggle to ensure that every citizen has equal access to the ballot and an equal voice in our democracy. Following the court's decision, Senator Jon Ossoff stated that it results from an ongoing multi-year attack on the signature policy achievements of the civil rights movement. He further warned that the blatant and cynical act of this campaign against voting rights laws is to reduce black representation in the United States Congress. His comments reflect the seriousness with which many Americans view the future of voting rights. During Georgia's special legislative session called after the Supreme Court's ruling, Senator Ossoff described the effort to redraw legislative districts as a blatant scheme to undermine black representation in Congress and the state legislature, by exploiting the Supreme Court's gutting of the Voting Rights Act. He concluded with a challenge rather than despair, declaring, "Our answer will be overwhelming." Speaking at Beulah Missionary Baptist Church on Father's Day, Senator Ossoff reminded worshipers that attempts to weaken the political voice of minority communities had been met with determined civic engagement. He said, "Georgia's spirit of tolerance will overwhelm and defeat bigotry." He said, "Our defense of voting rights will be so fierce that no plot against the franchise will foil the will of the people." His words remind us that the strength of our democracy is not found solely in courtrooms or legislative chambers. It's found in informed citizens who register, who vote, who educate others, and peacefully participate in the democratic process. The struggle for voting rights has always demanded vigilance. It calls us to honor those who marched, those who prayed, those who suffered, and even gave their lives so that future generations could freely cast a ballot. Today, our responsibility is clear. We must remain informed. We must remain engaged. We must defend the principle that every eligible citizen deserves equal access to vote and equal representation under the law. For when the right to vote is protected, democracy is strengthened. And when every voice is heard, America is stronger. May God continue to bless our nation with justice, wisdom, and the courage to protect the precious right to vote. There are moments in history when leadership matters. There are seasons when courage matters. And there are times when public servants are called not simply to hold their office, but to stand for the people they have been entrusted to serve. Our speaker today has built a reputation for doing just that. Before entering the United States Senate, he was an investigative journalist who traveled the world exposing organized crime, exposing official corruption, war crimes, corporate abuses, and human trafficking. He understood then, and he understands now, that truth matters. Let me say that again. He understands then, and he understands now, that truth matters. Accountability matters. And people matter. When the people of Georgia entrusted him with the honor of serving in the United States Senate in the historic 2021 election, he made a commitment that his office would be one of the most responsive constituent service operations our state has ever seen. Thousands of Georgians have experienced that commitment firsthand, receiving help with veterans benefits, recovering money owed by the IRS, securing passports, and navigating the challenges of government because someone in his office answered the call. In the Senate, he has become known as a determined investigator, using the power of oversight to expose corruption, seek accountability, and pursue solutions that directly impact the lives of Georgia families. Today, as our nation continues to face significant challenges and important decisions about its future, we welcome a leader who has consistently spoken about public service, spoken about accountability, and the importance of civic engagement. Would you please join me in giving a warm, enthusiastic, and heartfelt welcome to the senior United States Senator from the great state of Georgia, Senator Jon Ossoff.
If it's alright, I wanna be with you all night, all night. Have a good time. We will. Ain't gotta worry 'cause it's alright. It's alright. All night, all night, all night, baby. Don't be shy, don't be shy, don't be shy. All night and all night, ain't gotta worry 'cause it's
Savannah! Thank you all so much for being here. Thanks to my friend, Reverend Thurman Neal Tillman of First African Baptist Church for that warm introduction. Thank you to Mayor Van Johnson for your hospitality in this beautiful city. Give it up for the mayor. And Savannah, let's hear it again for the next governor of the great state of Georgia, Keisha Lance Bottoms. There you go. Keisha, 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 Keisha. Now, would every veteran, every military service member, every military spouse, please raise your hand if you can and hold it high and be honored by all of us here today for your service. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Now, Savannah, are you ready to work? Yeah. Savannah, are you ready to win? Yeah. Who came here today because you love our country? Then turn to your neighbor, somebody you didn't come with, and tell them, I'm not sitting this one out. Say it again. Say, I'm not sitting this one out. Now, Savannah, I don't know if you saw the mess in Washington last week. The president was so humiliated in Hormuz. He threw his toys out the stroller and refused to sign the affordable housing bill. Did you see that? But wait, that's after he gave some felon donor a no-bid contract for the reflecting pool, and it filled up with algae, which for some reason required the deployment of the National Guard. And then because of his war and his tariffs, inflation rose to over 4%. He promised to bring down prices on day one. Do you remember that? Do y'all know what today is? Today is day 524, and groceries, rent, and health care are at their all-time highs in American history. Donald Trump and his puppet, Mike Collins. They doubled health insurance premiums for more than 1 million Georgians and threw 300,000 Georgians off their insurance altogether. I heard from a woman with cancer who waits tables for a living and said she was going to lose her health coverage in the middle of chemotherapy. And they did this to pay for a tax cut that went overwhelmingly to the rich and to corporate America. Did you know that, Savannah? Savannah, I never want to hear these two pretend they give a damn about working people again. Because while hundreds of thousands of Georgians lose their health care, Mike Collins builds Trump a ballroom. They worked harder burying the Epstein files than they ever worked to lower your grocery bill. And while you pay more for everything, the Trumps are raking in billions from all over the world. Illegal tariffs, failed war, healthcare cuts, and unmatched corruption. 34% approval, and a presidential legacy cemented in disgrace. But he didn't just promise to lower prices, he promised to keep America out of war. Instead, Donald's defeat sent gas prices soaring and made America weaker and less secure. And just like the Iraq War, the Donald Trump, Mike Collins Iran war is a war built on lies. Lies about intelligence, lies about the war's purpose, and lies about its progress. Daily lies, hourly lies, lies and empty threats. Donald Trump said he would pick Iran's next supreme leader. And, quote, there will be no deal except unconditional surrender. He said, quote, we're going to destroy their missiles and raise their missile industry to the ground. And at his most desperate, quote, a whole civilization will die tonight, said the president. And all the while, daily promises of total victory. Did you see it, Savannah? But the reality of the situation is brutal and undeniable, because instead of unconditional surrender, the Iranian regime is emboldened. And instead of destroying Iran's missiles, we burn through years of our own. American facilities across the region were heavily damaged. 13 brave, heroic American service members were killed in action and hundreds more wounded. And after all that, not only are Iran's drones and missiles intact, along with their ability to throttle the global energy supply, Iran also still controls its stockpile of highly enriched uranium. A stockpile it only built after Trump shredded President Obama's Iran deal. Do you remember that? A decade ago, Donald Trump attacked President Obama for lifting some sanctions to secure nuclear inspections and restrictions on Iranian enrichment. This month, Donald Trump was lifting sanctions just to reopen Hormuz. On Wednesday of this last week, he said the war was, quote, done. And then on Thursday, another ship was struck. On Friday, the president was bombing again, and last night, Iran attacked Bahrain. But see, this is what happens when you send your son-in-law, Jared, to cosplay as a diplomat. See, despite zero qualifications, Prince Jared was tapped to lead Middle East diplomacy. Now remember, Jared's slush fund, Affinity Partners, already got $2 billion from the Saudi Crown Prince. Did you know that? And even now, while negotiating for the United States over Iran and Gaza, he's actively asking Arab princes for billions more. Not for the United States, for his own business. Okay, but here's a twist in the story. There's this beautiful little island off the Albanian coast called Sazan, and Jared Kushner wants it. So he took his Saudi billions and he decided he and Ivanka would buy the island and build a luxury resort. And then, like clockwork, just a few weeks after Trump wins a second term in the White House, Albania's prime minister grants Jared's company strategic investor status. So permitting and approvals are expedited to help the American prince develop his new island. Now, this island is an Albanian national treasure, some of the last pristine coastline in the Mediterranean. Its waters were a national marine park protected from development until Albania changed the law to let Jared Kushner build his resort. And it turns out, Savannah, that ordinary Albanians are not fans of this arrangement. There are right now massive national anti-corruption protests, like tens of thousands of people in the streets of the capital, Tirana. They're calling it the Flamingo Revolution, all sparked by opposition to Jared Kushner's land deal. Now Albania's anti-corruption police are getting involved. They froze a bank account controlled by two of Jared's investors, both Syrian billionaires. Now, do you think Jared Kushner would get special island buying privileges if he weren't the president's son-in-law? And isn't he supposed to be doing diplomacy, not shady land deals? And it's not just Jared. Listen to this. The son of the other Middle East envoy is raising billions from the Emirates for the president's crypto business, while the president grants the Emirates the rights to our most sensitive technology. Your tax dollars are backing a Trump family tungsten mine in Kazakhstan. They are literally the elites they pretend to hate. The same folks who tried so hard to cover up the Epstein files. And listen, here's the bottom line. If you're involved in any of this, next year you'll be raising your right hand and swearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God, in front of the United States Congress. They act like they expect permanent impunity. And it reminds me of my opponent, Congressman Mike Collins. Listen to this. A few years back, this degenerate political staffer named Brandon Phillips had been convicted of multiple crimes in Bibb County for some brutal violence. A few months later, he was arrested again for an armed altercation, and then again a few years later for animal cruelty. This kid was such a mess that he had to resign from the Trump campaign. But Congressman Mike Collins saw Brandon and thought he'd make a great chief of staff. So Mike hired Brandon to run his entire congressional office. Fast forward 4 years, and as we speak, both Brandon and Mike are under active federal investigation for illegally funneling federal tax dollars to Brandon's girlfriend. Then last month, Brandon starts mocking a rape victim on Mike's official campaign account. And even then, Mike only fired Brandon after the head of a Republican super PAC threatened to cancel tens of millions of dollars of support from Mike's campaign. So Brandon's gone, and Mike Collins promotes a young man named Kip to be his new chief of staff. But then it's revealed Kip's been briefing Nick Fuentes, the Hitler admirer, and Richard Spencer, the Charlottesville guy, on how he's using Mike Collins' office to free a Holocaust denier from prison. And Mike's okay with this. Kip's still on the payroll, because this is the same Mike Collins who saw a gang of young men harassing a black female college student with monkey sounds, and Mike Collins called it, quote, Ole Miss taking care of business. See, there's a reason Brian Kemp worked so hard to stop Mike. Why Eric Erickson said Mike, quote, knowingly hired a sociopath with a criminal record who was alleged to have used your and my tax dollars to subsidize his girlfriend. Why conservative radio host Shelley Winter called Mike a bottom feeder. Why Coach Dooley said that Mike's, quote, disgusting behavior does not represent Georgia values or, frankly, any values. There's a reason one of the founders of the Tea Party said just last week, quote, I cannot in good conscience vote for Mike Collins. He is unfit for office. And the reason is that Mike Collins is a bigot and an anti-Semite under federal investigation for the illegal misuse of tax dollars, widely known as a man of poor character who lacks the judgment and integrity to serve in the United States Senate. And now, Savannah, now the bigot congressman, who's only a congressman because his daddy was a congressman, wants a promotion. But Savannah, come November, we'll end his political career instead. From Jared Kushner to Mike Collins, the Mar-a-Lago Mafia has taken American corruption to spectacular new heights. But corruption in America runs a lot deeper than Donald Trump. American politics is coin operated. Money goes in, favors come out. Spectacular wealth buys an ever greater share of power over our national affairs, while the mere citizen is treated with contempt. Cynicism sets in amidst a politics of broken promises, unmoored from fixed moral principles and incapable of inspiration or great national achievement. We were promised tax cuts for the rich would bring wealth to the working class. We were promised Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and our forces would be greeted as liberators. We were promised fairness only to see banks bailed out while millions lost homes. Do you remember? We're promised hard work earns wealth and advancement. But for too many, the treadmill gets faster and steeper. Georgians work harder and harder, but the bills get higher and higher. A 60-hour work week still needs SNAP. Santa can't make your little girl's wish come true this year, and that bucket list trip looks off the table for good. And meanwhile, the corporate disrespect is suffocating. Instead of reading to your child, that precious spare hour after work is spent on the phone fighting your bank or the cable company or the insurer that's denied your claim and dared you to fight back while you're sick. A toddler's ambulance is followed by a $3,000 bill. Hedge funds buy up houses till there are none left to afford, then rip off the renters they forced into tenancy. And how do they get away with it? Well, we were promised a political system that delivers for the public, but instead it delivers for the donors. Citizens United was the most destructive court decision in modern American history. It's unleashed a flood of secret money, corporate money, billionaire money on both sides. And Donald Trump's rise is a symptom of this deeper disease. I suspect many of you are here because you recognize that our task is not just to contain his wickedness, but to cure the rot that gave rise to it. That this broken moment is an opening, not for restoration, but for reformation. Because who really supports allowing unlimited secret political money to bend the national agenda in darkness? In Garden City, or Albany, or Columbus, if I ask anyone, Democrat, Republican, or none of the above, if I ask them whether this is how things should work, It doesn't matter who they are. The answer is a resounding no. And Savannah, if it takes a constitutional amendment to end Citizens United, we'll deliver a united Georgia to ratify it. Because all of this has real human consequences. Right here in Georgia, we're in the midst of a healthcare emergency, and our so-called leaders try to numb us to the suffering they've caused. They've continued to block Medicaid expansion while Georgia lost 21 hospitals in 20 years. And then last year, they gutted Medicaid nationally. Just listen to this. 40% of all Georgia kids are covered by Medicaid. 50% of all Georgia births are covered by Medicaid. 70% of all Georgia seniors in nursing homes are covered by Medicaid. Yes. Already one labor and delivery unit in Georgia has closed, citing those Medicaid cuts, with more pain coming for hospitals and clinics and nursing homes. So Georgians are getting hit with higher premiums. Hundreds of thousands have lost coverage, and hospitals and clinics are losing funding. All this when we already have the second highest uninsured rate in the nation. The third fewest mental health providers. The fourth worst newborn weight at birth. See, the legendary civil rights leader Marion Wright Edelman said, quote, "We don't have a money problem. We have a profound values and priorities problem." Because, see, this isn't just the way it is or the way it has to be. All this needless death and suffering and misery is a choice. Georgia's leaders have chosen to leave Georgians without insurance and without hospitals. They're down having a stake at the palm, handing out your tax dollars to their donors while women hemorrhage in Georgia labor wards because they didn't get prenatal care. But Savannah, when you elect a Medicaid expanding Governor Bottoms in November, together we can get Georgians covered with great health care. Together we can save our hospitals and build new ones across our state. And when you send me back to the Senate, I'll keep fighting to ban these insurance companies from denying or delaying our families the health care we need. I think every day about Congressman Lewis. And his portrait hangs right above my desk in my Senate office. In his final years, he kept reminding us that we all live in one American house, that we all live in one world house. John Lewis called it the inevitable truth that we're all members of one human family. And I know many of you are here because you're so deeply troubled by the pain so many of our fellow human beings are enduring right now. The terror of a child watching ICE take away his mother. The despair of a cancer patient losing coverage mid-treatment. The silent panic of a grandma when she sees the receipt for her groceries with 3 weeks left until her next Social Security check. Now, maybe they don't care in the White House or in the governor's mansion, but that ache in your heart, that pit in your stomach, that's what reminds us we're all in this together. That we're not just one United States, we're one united people, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. That we're bound together by the same great national spirit that passed civil rights laws, that defeated fascism, that landed men on the moon. And see, this is what small men like Donald Trump and Mike Collins will never understand. that our national greatness flows not through our blood or our genes, but through our ideas and through our care for one another. How amazing is it that the most powerful nation on earth proclaims as its core values that all are created equal, with inalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, no matter how humble our beginnings, no matter our ancestry, or when we arrived on these shores. Americans aren't a race, we're a people. United not by ethnicity, but by shared convictions, and that is what makes us exceptional and a beacon to the world. Just think, 250 years on, what the founders would see if they visited us today. But wait, they would see that slavery had been abolished. They would see that Americans without land, and then women's, and then the descendants of slaves had secured voting rights. They would see that our science and discovery propelled human knowledge to unimaginable heights, and that those 13 colonies had grown into a superpower that defeated the Nazis and communism. They'd see a pluralist democracy, people of all colors descended from every point on earth, stitched together out of many nations into one. But they'd also see a nation that at the height of its wealth and power fell into the very traps they most feared, devouring itself in bitter conflict between warring factions captured by special interests. And they'd see a faithless president exploiting this rot to pursue the absolute power they overthrew. A president who's embarked on this unmistakable project not to lead us, but to rule us. And here we are in Georgia, where he sent spies and agents to seize our ballots. Did you see that, Savannah? Now, why Georgia? Why Fulton County? I submit to you it's because the fact that black voters were instrumental to his defeat might be even more offensive to this committed racist than defeat itself. And now here in Georgia, he wants to send an election denier to the U.S. Senate. Mike Collins, who's pro-war and pro-tariff and pro-cutting your health care, he proudly defends the violent mob that sacked the Capitol on January 6th to throw out your votes and install a defeated president. To this day, Mike Collins defends that violent attempt to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. But Savannah, he forgets your power. Because not only did their attack on the Capitol fail, it was early that same morning 5 years ago that Georgia shocked the world and sent to the Senate the young Jewish son of an immigrant and a black pastor who holds Dr. King's pulpit at Ebenezer Baptist Church. You did that, Savannah. And last week, when they gathered in Atlanta to remove black elected officials from office, not by defeating them at the polls, but by manipulating maps to dilute minority power, they saw you mobilize, Savannah, and they backed down in fear of your power. Savannah, a wave is building. The kind of wave that comes once a generation, when people have been pushed too far and they decide all at once, all together, that enough is enough. We have the power not just to restore checks and balances, but to rebuke these abuses of power with such power and decision that no president dares try anything like this again for a century. So, Savannah, let's give them a united Georgia. And let's make sure they hear it all the way down at Mar-a-Lago, that Georgia will bow to no king. The polls open in 4 months, Savannah. Let's get to work. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you so much for coming today.
Till